decision? I mean, it seems to me that the decision to self-publish was generated more by a desire to really, own your story.
That's it, 100%. There was no driven message with me trying to prove people wrong or whatever. It was 100% by me wanting to own my life. There's a lot of people I know that I speak with right now that have nice book deals out there, and the people who buy their book, whatever publishing house, they can't even talk some of this stuff, in like in speaking engagements. And I'm like, what? You can't even talk your story? And some of these, they're like, no, I got to make sure that they're aware of it. And I'm like, no, man, I want to own 100% of the suffering I went through in my life. I don't want anybody telling me, hey, Goggins, you can't say this. I would lose my shit. What I suffered this badly, and you gonna fucking tell me I can't say this? There've been all kind of problems with that one. So I made sure that I wanted to own all of Can't Hurt Me and own all of my own life story. So that's what it really is all about. So it was the recruiting era for me when I started becoming like the Navy SEALs needed more blacks in the SEAL teams, and that's what people don't understand. Like why did you become a recruiter in the SEAL teams? I was one of the few black guys. And I'd already done Badwater, so I got a little bit, small bit of notoriety for doing Badwater, and so the Navy SEALs were like, oh my God, we could use this guy to try to get the 1% of the African Americans in Navy SEALs up to maybe 2%, and so I hit the road and started doing that. But I also I'm not a big guy on social media, so I was actually happy to kind of pull away from it. I'm just not big on that stuff, even today. I'm just not a big fan of it, man. I'm a big introvert. I get a lot of my strength from being introverted, and going out there and doing what I do is all this is very difficult for me, man. All of it. Yeah. I think it's important to do things you don't like, and I was very ashamed of my life story for a long time. I didn't want to go out and tell anybody shit about me, so that's why I had two people. I created one David Goggins and one Goggins. Right. And I didn't want people to know that I had all these issues. But after a while, people start to give you these different taglines. Like, you're superhuman, you're amazing. I'm like, you fuckers don't know anything about me, man. Like, I'm this insecure kid. And I started realizing there's a lot of people out here who are going through a lot of problems that I once tapped into. I had a whole bunch of issues growing up. And, I felt compelled to just, you got to start sharing this stuff, man, because people see where you're at today. They see where you're at today. They see the man you are today, this rock hard human being. Show these people where you come from. Right. Show these people it's possible. I actually do it in the audiobook. In the audiobook, while Adam's reading, we have a moment where we stop because we're like 6 or 7, 6, 7, 8, where I start doing all these crazy feats and start going way beyond human limits for myself. And I tell people, while you're hearing this, I know you guys have already forgotten about how I came up. Don't forget the torture I endured mentally and physically in my own mind, going through all this shit. So don't ever forget that. So people forget that so quickly when they get to that 7, 8, 9, 10 chapters. So it's
yeah.
quick. Well, everything I do, I try to do my very best. And now that I'm out here trying to share this story with people, I want to be so real and so fucking authentic to the point where it was embarrassing to me. As I was writing some stuff and I was giving it to Adam and we were going back and forth, I'm like, man, I was talking to my fiance, do I really want people to fucking know this about me?
But that's the power, man.
And that's the
strength that you have to summon to be that vulnerable, because that's how people are going to be able to emotionally connect.
Exactly.
When they look at what you've done in Badwater and all the buds and all that kind of stuff, it becomes difficult for people to relate to that. But when you have the strength and the fortitude to share those parts of your life that do embarrass you or provoke shame in you, that's the real shit. I
had to show people I was human. People didn't think I was human. They thought I came from outer space, man, from some spacecraft and shit, and landed down here and just formed Goggins from the rocks and the soul of the earth. No, that's not how it is, man. So I said, I'm gonna share a secret with you all.
Well, in one of the recaps, you tell Adam writing this book was the hardest thing you've ever done. And as somebody who's done a lot of hard shit, that was a surprising thing to hear.
Well, looking in the mirror at yourself, because I did a really good job by creating this guy I am now. So I can just go by and just live by this guy here. This is who I am.
Do you think of it as like this because you refer to yourself in the third person
Always.
all the time, right? So it's like this character that you're trying to aspire to be that's
Right.
distinct from you. Like you create this like division. How does that work?
It's a big division because when I talk to people, like I see where I'm at today, but I know where I come from. And it's kind of hard to almost separate that. I'm almost, not in a way I'm kissing my own ass, but I'm amazed at what a human being can actually do. So when I start talking to myself in the third person, it's strictly because I know that I literally made this human being out of just like a whole bunch of scraps. Mm-hmm. And I wasn't, I wasn't a mechanic. I wasn't a carpenter, so I didn't know how to do any of this shit. Mm-hmm. I wasn't trained in how to build a human being from nothing. Like my mom didn't train me, my dad didn't train me, life didn't train me. Well, life did train me.
Yeah.
Life did train me, correction. And I started putting this scrap metal together. I'm like, I wonder what the fuck's gonna happen. The first year I tried to do was all fucked up. And after a while, I started learning more and more and more through pain and suffering. I started learning so much about stuff. Before I knew it, man, I built this beautiful car. And I'm like, how the fuck did I do that? And I knew how, and I know how to do it because I have all the tools. Through all the failure I went through trying to build this person who's Goggins.
There's just so much more. Yeah, and that was something like
so much more, man.
Unbelievable.
It's all surface, man. I only had an hour to talk to people in the podcast. You got to get the surface version. The book goes deep, dark into the sewer.
Yeah.
Tells you everything.
It's an incredible accomplishment. It's such an unbelievable document. It's going to inspire and catalyze a lot of growth in a lot of people, man.